Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the My Tech Story Africa podcast. My name is Alice Kanjejo, your lovely host. Today's guest is part of the Carnegie Mellon University Africa series, and unfortunately, sadly, our last episode that we shall be covering for that series. Our guest for today is Ariane Shimirwa, who is currently a student in Carnegie Mellon University Africa. Now, if you're new here and you didn't tune into the previous episodes that are part of the Carnegie Mellon series, Carnegie Mellon University Africa is a graduate program that is very intense for people who are looking to further their studies when it comes to anything tech. So if you haven't already checked them out and you're looking to elevate your studies in terms of graduate programs, that is the place that you should be looking into. Ariane shares her journey from lacking work experience to becoming a data scientist, detailing her internship progression and addressing self-doubt upon receiving admission.
I was kind of scared. I was like, even though I got admitted, am I going to go? I mean, it's a master's. They're not going to do basic things in programming, you know?
Reflecting on her master's program's challenges, Ariane emphasizes persistence and dedication, and she also discusses her evaluation to a 3.9 GPA, insights into data science, challenges in data collection, and the field's growth in Africa. The conversation touches on government policies in data ethics, concluding with Ariane advising aspiring individuals to act on passions and embrace fear.
Be afraid, but still do it.
This especially is an episode that if you're looking to become a student, especially in a graduate program, Ariane really does share her experience and her journey towards doing that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed being part of it. And be sure to check out My Tech Story Africa's website at mtsafrica.co. Follow us on social media platforms at My Tech Story Africa everywhere. And be sure to join our community, again, still on our website at mtsafrica.co, where you'll be able to get the latest updates on what's happening in the tech industry across the continent. That being said, let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of the My Tech Story Africa podcast. And I am very excited for the guest that we have for this week's episode. We are still in Kigali, Rwanda for this season, and today we also have another representative from this CMU alumni / not alumni. You mentioned that you're currently still a student, and so we are gonna take a deep dive into yet another conversation that I'm excited to be having. Today we have Ariane Shimirwa coming in live and direct, coming to share with us her tech story. And so welcome, Ariane, and thank you for honoring my invite to be part of this episode and this podcast.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Ariane Shimirwa. I'm currently a master's student at Carnegie Mellon University Africa. I'm doing machine learning and data science. Yes.
Okay. Well, that is the basic introduction, but now we want to take a deep dive into why everybody is here to know about the tech story. So, Ariane, please let us know where your journey began and your interests began. Are you where you thought you were going to be when you were younger, or what was the dream right before you got to even have it?
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny that my journey began when I joined CMU last year, 2022, August. That's when I started my tech journey.
So, why did you even decide, okay, I think that's further down the conversation, but what was happening before, and what, in high school, what were some of your interests?
Well, in high school, I grew up loving mathematics. I love math to the point when I finished high school, they gave me, I don't know how, all of a sudden they gave me to study agriculture in University of Rwanda that is based in Butare. But I was like, no, I can't study agriculture. I want math. Yes. Then I took myself, went to the registrar in the University of Rwanda to the College of Science and Technology. I was like, I want a field where I can study mathematics. Anything, but it is mathematics involved. I want that.
So wait. Before you go any further, you had such a deep love for mathematics.
Yes.
When you were in primary school.
Yeah.
High school.
Yes.
You are some of the strongest. Because for me, mathematics was one of the biggest headaches of my life.
Really?
I hated math. felt like it was a task. Okay, yeah, there was a good feeling when you finish the as equation and you sorted it out, but it was never my biggest interest. And I think that's why maybe I have this podcast, because my subject was English.
That's why
That's why I'm here. But beyond that, I think I had something. I did love physics, but I didn't think I loved it enough to pursue something within the related.
For me, mathematics is life. Even the games I play in my phone, they're mathematics based. Sudoku, like solving complex, challenging problems, such things.
So then what did you end up? Okay, so you're in high school. The next step is university. You need to pick a subject.
Yes, I went to the registrar, and then he was like, we are full, because of course everything, like every subject was full at that moment. And then I was like, I'm not going to go to study agriculture. I want mathematics, just if you can include me in anything that involves mathematics. And then he said, there's this new subject coming in, mathematical statistics. Depending on how you love mathematics and your grades, I think you can fit in. I was like, sign me up. Yeah, then I went to University of Rwanda College of Science and Technology, doing mathematical statistics in the Department of Mathematics.
Did you love that experience? Were you happy the entire time?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was super, super happy. It was easy for me to the point I could even dodge. Sorry for saying that. Even dodge, but right after come back and do the quizzes, do the cut, and I pass.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That is not my story. But I'm happy some people are able to take up.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you, while you were on campus, were you doing any jobs at that time?
I was just a full-time student.
Yeah. Okay, so what then did you do, or when you started to think after college?
Right, yeah.
I read your CV and I feel like there was an interesting twist on it from your mathematical.
Yeah, exactly. So when we are in the last year, they start to think of what you want in the coming years. I was like, what can I do? I love statistics. I love math. I can be a professor. I can go around teaching mathematics. I was like, but then I started doing some research, and then I found the data science, what they do, completely aligns with my interests.
Yeah.
Being a data scientist. But at that time, I hated tech. I hated anything programming.
So you hate tech, but
I hate it. Not now.
Okay.
I hate it at that time, like in 5 years. It was in 2017.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but so what was that? Did I want to ask you? So in your mind, when you were pursuing the degree that was heavily mathematically focused, what did you think your career path was going to look like? What were you anticipating post uni?
When we are in college, most of the time you don't know where you are headed. For me, I didn't know where I'm headed, what I want to be. Yes. I just know that I want to surround myself anything concerning mathematics. That will allow me to think, Yes. So then when I started doing research, trying to see where am I heading after the college, I found data science. Anything related to data analysis, data science. I was like, there's statistics here. I can actually fit in.
Yes.
I was like, but I saw they code in data science. They use R, they use Python. How am I going to code? Yeah. The story for me hating tech is that my brother is a software engineer.
Oh.
And then he works at home the whole time.
Yes. And then do you feel like that's...
Yeah, I could see him spending the whole day on his PC.
Yes.
Like coding, having no life, not going out.
Yeah, I was like, coders barely ever have lives.
I was like, I don't want that life, And then, and again, I thought, but still I want data science. How can I study data science without coding? And then I was like, there's no other way. But what gave me clarity was in COVID-19, that pandemic.
Yes, of course.
The lockdown.
You're saying it like that pandemic.
Yeah,
that
I know.
we experienced.
During the lockdown, it was when he was still working, of course, because he works online. He was like, Ariane, please come and I show you how to code, how to do a website. You can help me. I have so many jobs I'm doing. You can help me with it. And then I was like, how much are you earning? And then he was like, per website, I'm earning a lot and I have so many jobs around. You can study. And then I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I have to
he's
do
coding,
this.
but there's a purpose. There's a reason why he's
there's
doing
a reason.
it.
Me, at first, I went in for money. Okay. And then because he was bragging around, I just received 300K for just two days website. I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. And then he gave me some files to read, documentations, everything on HTML and CSS on how to do a website. 30 days, like one video per day. I watched them and I enjoyed it. But then, like when it started, like on the 15th day, it started being complicated. I was like, no, I can't do this. I quit. I was like, no, stay with your money. And then I started to think, after even my parents was like, why are you sitting here? Your brother is working online. You can find also a job online. I mean, what job?
So this was post-uni. You were kind of still confused what you wanted to do.
I was confused. But also I had fear. I knew deep inside I wanted to be a data scientist. I wanted to know how to code, how to analyze data. But I had fear. I can't know how to code. What
exactly was the fear of?
The fear of not knowing how to code, because it's difficult. Everyone says it's difficult. Everyone said it is difficult.
Yes.
You have to spend sleepless nights doing this. You have to be really motivated.
You do.
At that time, I didn't have the motivation. The motivation was money.
Yes.
But when you go into things with the money mindset, it doesn't work out. I tried. I learned how to do a website, but then I quit it because it was.
No, I completely agree. I think obviously money is usually at the back of the mind when you're pursuing something and you have to think strategically. But I think when you start with the money at the forefront, the gratification and the success rate is, or even just that feeling of you've done something impactful, is less than when you first figure out how we are going to tie money to something that I'm passionate about, or something that I can feel I can make an impactful change in. So I'm glad you have a testimony here to let you know that if you go with the money mindset, it doesn't always succeed.
Yeah, it doesn't work out. So that time, that's when I decided I have to find something to do. I can't always be sleeping home. My mother is getting tired of me, And then
pretty soon they'll start cutting you off.
I was like, I don't have work experience because I finished my college in the pandemic, like 2020. That's when I finished my college. So I didn't have any work experience. I was like, even if I start doing these website things, I can't apply anywhere. I don't have like experience I didn't even study computer science in college. But the
experience is in you doing
Exactly. I didn't know that time. Yes. So I started going online. Maybe I can apply a master's, Then I stumbled upon Carnegie Mellon. I heard, the applications are open. But then I was like, there's no way Carnegie Mellon can admit me. There's no way. I don't have background in technology, anything, coding. I can't even see myself studying in Carnegie Mellon University, And then I quit it. And then there was a friend of mine. He was like, you don't have anything to lose, just apply. Just apply. Then I decided to apply like the very last day. Can you believe it? The very last day.
Like you have one day to apply.
Like that time, the deadline was midnight. I remember sitting in my room at 9, like writing the statement of purpose. I was like, what can I even write? I don't have any story to tell, the statement of purpose, you talk about yourself, what you have been doing. I was like, others are writing the projects they have done probably in college about computer science and everything. And then I was like, let me just write what's on my mind, then apply. At the end of the day, I don't have anything to lose.
To be honest, when you I think when we're having this conversation and when we're preparing for this podcast, and you mentioned that too much preparation is also bad.
Yeah,
I really do think for the university
you got that right.
I do think for the university applications, especially for higher education, they look for your authentic story rather than the one that you've thought of over and over to use the certain words or how you're going to phrase or what you need to brag about. But truthfully, if you just write it from who you are authentically, you have more chances of getting an opportunity.
Exactly. That's what I did. I just expressed my love for mathematics. And then I just talked a bit about those the time I invested in learning the website. Although I didn't work out,
15 days.
but also the 15 days. I put that there. And then because I also had courses online, of learning SQL that time, I just also put there the certificates, and then I submitted an application. At that time, I didn't have a job, and then after like 3 months, I got an internship in a bank, somewhere here in Rwanda. And then I started doing my internship. I was a customer service agent.
Okay, yeah. At first I was like, maybe I'm getting the wrong bio of the person I've been researching.
I've been in a lot of things. I've even been an underwriter in an insurance.
Okay, so your first job was customer service for the bank.
Yeah.
Which bank?
Bank of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a customer service agent, man. It was boring. That's when I knew I need to do things.
How did you get the job?
Well, I applied.
Did you just apply?
I just applied, and then I had applied like 6 months ago, and then that time they replied to me, you can come and start doing the internship for 6 months. And yes, I did the internship 3 months, and then at that time, someone recommended me in this insurance agency that they want someone who, actually it's my professor back in college. They wanted someone who studied mathematics and was good in class. And then he recommended me and they called me. I went to job working as an underwriter in an insurance.
What is an underwriter?
Underwriter, like an insurance, they give people insurances. So an underwriter is a person who takes risks. Because if you are coming to me asking me, I want an insurance of my house, I have to see it's a risk I'm taking insuring your house. So we provide insurances, but we analyze those risks. And in analyzing those risks, it requires a lot of math, like computing if this house gets problems, something like that. Yeah, so I worked there for another 3 months, and then that's when I got the admission. The admission came in a bit late compared to other like my fellows who also applied in CMU, and they all got rejected. Even the person who advised me to apply got rejected. Goodness. And I was like, that's unfortunately for me.
That's,
so it's already confirmed. Yeah. And then I was in office. I was like, I saw a notification. It says decision on your application. I didn't open it. I was like, this is unfortunately. But let me open it. Unfortunately, I know it.
Yes.
And then when I saw congratulations, I didn't even read anything else. I was like, I was shouting everywhere. I got in. No way. I was like, they don't know what they have.
They don't know what.
Yeah.
No, especially because you were saying that people who were applying all got rejected.
Yeah, they got rejected.
You applied on the last day.
And they had experience in some of the programming. Yeah. They have done maybe computer science, but I was like, what? Can I even be admitted? Okay, my dream is coming true. I'm finally becoming a data scientist. Okay. And then,
my God. Wait, before you even proceed, did you feel like there was some bit of jealousy or feelings towards you for getting that opportunity? Because people may have felt you didn't deserve it, and maybe they did, or what was that?
Well, for me, I was kind of scared. I was like, even though I got admitted, am I going to go? I mean, it's a master's. They're not going to do basic things in programming, I had fears, like, no.
What program were you applying for?
IT, information technology. Yeah. So finally decided to go. And then the hardship starts.
The hardship starts.
Yeah, actually, that's where I started my technically. So after being admitted, we have this intense 1 month of orientation. That's where we get to study Java, Linux, and every programming skills and academic skills. So that was the hardest month for me. I was literally sitting in class. I was like a cow watching a match, you know.
Like, what's
I was
happening?
like, what's happening? What is this? And I started doubting myself. I was like, can I even do it? And on the back of my mind, I was, if I quit, what will my mother say? What will my brother say?
Yeah,
They'll
actually,
say I'm a loser, you know?
I did want to ask you, besides the feeling, the sentiments of, you know, your colleagues who maybe didn't get the opportunity, which you still haven't mentioned, how did your parents take out the news that you got into Carnegie Mellon?
Well, they were happy. They were happy that finally I'm going to do something, not staying at home. But on the other side, my friends, they were like, oh, we are happy for you. I don't know how, if it touched them somehow. I just know they congratulated
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Because some people would feel some type of way. I mean, this is maybe their dream, and they've gone to those internships and those organizations that are doing tech, and they didn't get the same opportunity.
I was lucky to be honest. I don't know how they selected me. That thank to God they did. Because I'm enjoying my moment here.
Yeah, I mean, enjoying relatively, because now the suffering has begun and you started doubting yourself.
Yeah.
Why are you doubting yourself?
Because it was my first time actually in this industry.
Yes.
And have seen people suffering. I've seen my brother spending nights and nights like coding. And I was like, this is something difficult. And then at the back of my mind, I was like, but I want to be a data scientist. How am I going to do that if I just quit? I didn't get a thought of quitting. I didn't. But I was like, I have no other option. And then when we were in orientation, they say, this is a master's degree. We are not, if you don't have a background, they know that some of us don't have a background. But they said, if you don't have a background, just invest in more time to catch up with the others. That's what I did. I spent sleepless nights on YouTube videos.
So you became the person you hated the most.
I was like, at that time, I didn't do it happily. I was like, I have no other option.
Yes.
No other option. That's what was in my mind. Yes. I can quit. You know, I just got this degree. This is an opportunity, like a fantastic opportunity for me. I can't waste it. So I started investing more time in learning, you know, and then... And also, I'm a prayer person, you know. So there's this time where I was doubting myself, like, do I even belong here? You know, I was getting zeros, my man, in assignments. I was getting zeros, you know. Yeah. Zeros, it's like forbidden, you know. I was getting, like, not 0, but I was getting low marks in that orientation, grades. And then I started doubting myself. Do I even belong here? Like, I was seeing everyone. When I talk to everyone, they come from a computer science background, software engineering. I was like, oh, I'm the only one here. You know, that feeling. And then, one time I opened the Bible. I was doubting myself very, very too much. I was like, why did God put me here if he knew I was going to quit or I was going to fail. And then when I opened the Bible, I just stumbled upon a word in Isaiah 41:10. I don't know if you're a prayer person. 41:10. May I read it?
Yes,
I have it in my reminders. That word, notes. It says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. From that moment, it was like fear just vanished. I was like, if I can open a Bible, like,
and randomly, upon
this verse
speaking to you.
Yeah, God is with me. So then I was like, it's me and you. I will get to know you. Whatever you do, I will know you in Python. I was talking to Python. I will know how to code. I will know how to program. And then, like, just step by step, it comes, and you invest. As you invest in more time, like, you have to do extra work compared to your peers. You have to put in extra work.
Especially because you didn't even have a background.
Exactly. But guess what? Last semester, I got a 3.9 GPA.
Wow.
Can you believe it? I even took 54 units. 54 units, those are the maximum units you can take in a semester.
Why would you take 54 units per semester?
I was like...
You said you're going
the
hard,
first semester, it was very... I'm telling you, it was very, very hard. It was very, very hard.
Yes.
Yeah, that semester, I think I got 3.6, right? But I was like, no, this is not my best self. I'm going to invest in more. I kept studying even during the holidays. I kept studying for the upcoming courses. And then I took 54, but that's because there are some mini courses that we take in the middle of the semester. Yeah, that's why. And then luckily I got 3.9. Yeah.
Congratulations,
and now,
first of all. That is,
thank you.
And the sky's the limit. We are now aiming for 4.
Now I can call myself a data scientist, machine learning engineer.
Machine
I didn't know I can
engineer.
be called that name, engineer. You know that.
It's always...
And I'm proud of it.
You should be proud of it because, people always think there are things that are so impossible for you to do, but literally anything you decide to put your mind to, you can achieve. You just have to... And you put your mind to it, and then now you set your mind to it, and you do the work that it needs to be done for you to get to there. You'll get there one way or another, even if it's not the direct path as some people's are. You'll still get there. It was interesting. Just the other day, I was having another CMU alumni, and normally when I have guests, I anticipate they have quite a story to tell in terms of, okay, maybe I didn't want to pursue this course, or I knew I wanted to do this, but I had to go to this country and then this happened. This guy, from the time he was a kid, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. Oh. And so I went, my undergrad, I did engineering. From there, I came to CMU, I did engineering. My jobs have always been, and I feel like those are the most, I don't know. I don't know if I should say fortunate, but maybe lucky to some extent. People who know from the beginning, this is what I want to pursue, and they're happy to pursue it.
And it's rare.
But a lot of people, that's not the path. It's okay, I have this, but maybe there's something here. I know I like this, but I don't know if it's what I want as a career. But the fact that you put your mind to this and said, okay, it's me and you, Python.
It's me and you. Not going anywhere.
And now you can call yourself a data scientist. It's absolutely applaudable, and I'm so proud of you. And we are now aiming for the 4.0. So how long do you have here at Carnegie Mellon left?
I'll be graduating in May 2024.
You'll be graduating in May 2024.
Yeah, so
that's not too far.
Yeah, we are starting the second year, on Monday. Yes. I'll be in my last year.
You'll be in your last year. And what are you looking towards in terms of what your next chapter has in store for you?
Well, my next chapter from this, after first year, we are supposed to do internships. I was lucky to get internships. I'm doing 2 internships right now.
You're doing 2 internships already. Where are the internships being done?
Yeah, some is a company based here, a German company based here in Rwanda. Another one based in US, but that one is completely remote. So, I'm doing in one, I'm a data scientist intern, and the other, I'm the consultant associate.
You're even a consultant.
I mean, yeah.
What are the odds?
Well, what can I say? I'm lucky. Okay, they have seen what I can bring to the table. Have put it in my work. I've done everything possible, and it has paid off.
It has paid off.
Yeah, it has paid off for me to get those internships. If you asked me in 2017, did you see yourself working that place? I was like, no way.
There's no way you were going to do it.
But yeah, I'm there. I'm a consultant in the AI hub.
And I hope you never feel like an imposter. You're exactly where you're meant to be.
Yeah, I know.
And I think maybe I should have started with this, but sometimes people struggle to understand what a data scientist does. Maybe you can elaborate what a data scientist
is like a person who analyzes data.
Okay.
Build machine learning models. Okay, I'll go deep through that. Okay, what a data scientists do. For example, let me give you a small example, simple example. You have a business. You have, for example, a chocolate business. You have a chocolate that is wide, maybe. It's very, very huge. So you need someone to coordinate or your data, how did your sales, how to analyze how did the sales go last month, how are the sales going like for the next month, to predict what to expect in the coming years, you know.
So basically you'd look at so basically you try and do math to predict based on the data that you have
exactly
what the future potentially would hold, so that
exactly
you make better decisions.
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of customers regularly would data scientists
exactly
get?
Yeah, that's what we do.
So what kind of people regularly, or what kind of industries regularly are data scientists usually found in?
They
mostly?
can work anywhere.
Sure,
every
yes.
company needs a data scientist. Here in Rwanda, like, I don't know if some of them, the companies, organizations have data scientists and some don't have one, but they actually need one because they find themselves, even they have an IT guy, the IT guy finds himself doing the data scientist work, you know?
Yeah.
So everyone needs a data scientist in his company or his organization to be able to make better decisions. Yeah, so they can work in banks, they can work in private organizations, they can work even in insurances, anywhere actually you can fit in. Yeah.
And what did I want to ask? What's your take about the data scientist? I don't know if it's but the trajectory of what, data scientists. I'm trying to find the word to the career. What's the career for data science? I'm trying to ask you that in terms of your understanding of the trajectory of data science and how it's going in the industry, how far has it come and where do you potentially see it going, especially in Africa? Because I think when people are starting businesses, only the big ones see the need for a data scientist, but you say there's a lot of need for data scientists in almost every kind of field. So what do you think should be the ideal situation, especially for Africans who maybe might feel, okay, I need to build this business first, data scientists might be expensive, and this is what they need. And so how do we balance that out so that we can build a better future for everybody?
Yeah, compared to what data science jobs were in, like the past few years, it is evolving. People are getting to know that they need actually these kind of people in their businesses to thrive. So I think if you are even a small business, well, you will need someone to analyze your data, to analyze your incomings, to give you like a trend on how you are selling things, to give you a trend on how your business is going, So everyone, despite the resources, for example, for small businesses, you need that kind of person, especially if you are tech-related business. Yeah.
So I think another question that I have is, we know that data quality is also crucial for effective analysis.
Yeah.
And so what are the common challenges that you face or that the scientists face in terms of data collection and ensuring data is quality, especially within the African ecosystem?
Within the African ecosystem, the first challenge and ever challenge data scientists face is to actually get the data.
Get the data.
Yeah. So many organizations, so many, sectors are quite like holding on to their data. They can give you their data unless you have something really, So that's the first challenge. But when you get the data, part of the cleaning process, before you analyze the data, before you run those machine learning models for predictions, you have to do what we call the pre-processing. Pre-processing, it's the act of cleaning the data,
Yes.
Some data, for example, you can have age. They comes like an age and it's 150. There's no one we know that it's 150. Like cleaning all those things to know what to base on in cleaning, in filling in the gaps, some data missing in the outliers. That's the challenging thing. But when you're past that, everything goes smoothly. Yeah.
Okay. Then I think that also brought to me the idea of the people manipulating data. Now, I think At least Rwanda is a bit less of a victim of this, but I think corruption is deeply rooted in a lot of African countries. And so are there systems that are put in place to make sure that data is not manipulated by the data scientists, or what is the state of I mean, if you do know this, like the information is, I mean, how much data is usually, how is data manipulated to best suit the interests of few people and not other people, and how do we prevent that from happening, especially here?
Well, a data scientist follows the guidelines and the rules of whoever gave them those data. You have to sign a consent of the way you're going to use the data, because you, even before you get the data, you have to always prove what you're going to do with this data. If it tackles the privacy and concerns, because privacy and security, it's top major thing in data scientists. You have to always make sure there is privacy of the data you have, So in manipulating the data, I think it all comes within the organization we're working on, your superiors, because you keep giving constant feedbacks. I mean, they keep checking on you. I mean, there is, I haven't heard of such a thing, because at the end of the day, what you get from data will benefit the people. So why manipulating it?
I mean, in a situation that is not, it's favoring the wrong people. Let's say in a governmental institution, in terms of money or procurement per se, for example, and the numbers are not making sense, and you just wonder where the money went, and or not just money. Okay, maybe I have a very surface level understanding of data, but I do think there's potential for people to manipulate data and use it for a negative purpose. There's this case that is very common. I don't know if you know about it, the Cambridge Analytica case, where Facebook was sued. No, this company, Cambridge Analytica, was sued for having an impact in manipulating election results for countries like Kenya, I think a country in Asia, I've forgotten which one specifically, but they do that by collecting the data that they get from users from Facebook and then reading behavioral change and then using the data that they've collected to push forward content that is for a specific audience, because this is where I think towards that.
That is because it depends on the government. I think government should put on policies that should punish those kind of things. Like recently in AI, we established...
Are there policies?
Yeah. Well, here in Rwanda, we established a national AI policy that will prevent people from using the AI or data wrongly or for the wrongdoing. Yeah, so it all depends on the government, on the institutions, and those people should be punished. I mean, they should be punished.
They should be punished, but I mean, these are things that are happening on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's happening, and you can prevent that from happening, because if I go on Twitter and analyze those tweets, and then I can... Actually, we do that. It's called sentimental analysis,
We got you.
I mean, no, we do that I mean, who can do that? We do that in kind of helping the government to see what is going on really. We search trends and patterns in all the tweets. If someone is providing wrong context or bringing something that is sensitive, so you know how to mitigate that. But people who do that in wrongdoing or with a negative impact in mind, I don't know how some governments are actually putting policies in place to tackle that. But I think they can, they should.
They should.
Yes.
I think you've also mentioned something very interesting there, where you mentioned using Twitter data and then collecting them for the greater good. However, my next follow-up question is, do you think that there's a need for people to start paying to acquire data, especially on the internet, that is very accessible for social media platforms, because it's our data that people are analyzing and making decisions based on our data? Do you think there should be room for space, for people to also get paid for you analyzing this data? You're using this, maybe this is a harsh question, but this data that you're collecting from me as a user, you're using it so that you do your job well, so that you ultimately get money from it. So is there a need for maybe perhaps people to start paying to get access to data? Because your work now is easy, but there are of course these big data firms who charge to get, those big sets of data, but I do feel maybe there should be room for people to start paying to get data for people, whatever they're doing on the internet.
Exactly. So the first thing that is initially in place is that you give consent. If you allow us to use your data, you give consent.
Yeah.
But in return, as we do promise to not show anything that might be personal information that we can, for example, if it's a tweet, we do remove the names, the location, and everything that is personal, and we just analyze only the data you give us consent with. So that's the rule in place currently. I don't know if the paying part we can pay if we know there's someone who is willing to give us data for free, or he doesn't even know what's going to happen or what's going on, and can just get data. But it's not easy to get such data. It's not easy
to get such data.
It's not easy because of the privacy and concerns.
Yeah. Okay, and I think you had also mentioned something on AI. Maybe we can touch on that briefly, and your thoughts on the positive impact that the data that is being used to generate AI, but there are negative possibilities. Of course, AI it's not new. I mean, AI has been there, but now it's booming. There's all this data that's been collected on the internet for there to be able for people to use it for specific purposes for the greater good. However, there's there's good and there's the best to come, but there's also the worst to come. And I think people are very concerned about the future of AI based on how realistic people are, the inquiries that people are, even on ChatGPT, asking the question when you're asking it, or even those ones, they have your face, they do the AI model kind of thing. So, how do we address the concerns, and what are the concerns that AI can bring out to people?
AI is a powerful tool. I mean, AI is powerful in general.
Is powerful.
ChatGPT is a powerful tool, but in French, there's a saying with tout excès est mauvais. When there is too much of anything, it's worse. It's worse. So there's where I said there's this example I can give you. Have you seen the videos of pop in those niggers clothes? That's AI that's doing that. That's not a good thing to do. So those are kind of examples. I've heard some governments are implementing AI in their military. That's a bad thing to have, because AI sometimes can be biased, and if you implement it for something that is its impact is not for a greater good, for the development maybe of a country or development of a society, that's a wrong thing to do. I think that is a policy that so many people and I don't know, those people, maybe governments or anything, should put in place. They should look after what AI is bringing in the next few years to come. Yet it's bringing so many good things. We are developing our country, bringing so many digital systems from AI. But there's also that bad side of it. And the bad side of it should be tackled by those people who are in charge of the policies of the nation. How can we use this? Like in Rwanda, I've said they have is it 2 months ago, they put the national AI policy that we're going to follow here in Rwanda. So other governments should do so as well.
Okay, I think that wraps up the questions that I have for you, and it's been a pleasure to have you here on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
But before I wrap up, these 4 questions that I always ask all my guests at the end of every episode. The first one that I have for you is, what's one word to describe the journey to where you are today, and why?
My journey, I can say persistence.
Persistence.
Yeah.
Why?
Keeping all the good work, do not give up, know what you want, where you are heading, and then don't be afraid. Yeah, be afraid, but still do it,
Do it afraid.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you keep pushing, it will pay off.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually it will pay off. Yeah.
All right. And do you think you have any regrets or things that you wish you did better throughout?
I wish
the
I
journey?
should have like paid more attention to programming before, ahead of time. Like I went into programming ahead of time, because now I love it. It's something interesting when your code is working, you know.
When it's working. I mean, do you think if your brother wasn't your brother, you would have maybe considered doing it earlier?
Yeah.
So really, the person to blame here
No,
is you.
no. I mean, no. You mean I should have considered it
No,
earlier?
I'm saying if you didn't see your brother coding or if he chose a different path, do you think you would have considered doing it sooner?
Well, I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, it all depends on the environment, what surrounds you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I think if I would have joined or didn't give up back then,
yeah, maybe.
I'll be a step ahead of where I am now.
But it's okay. You're still in your own.
Yeah, I'm
path
still
and
learning. It's a learning journey. So
Yeah.
you keep learning. Yeah.
All right. And what advice do you think you would give to someone who's aspiring to get to where you are today?
The advice I can give you: first, follow your heart. Go for it now. Don't wait for maybe whenever time, I don't know. Do it now, because you will realize that you're wasting time if you don't do it now. And don't do it having a motive of money. Do it with another motivation, that this is what I want to do. This is where I'm heading. Project 5 years to come. I can see myself being a data scientist, for example. What can I do now to be a data scientist in 5 years? Yeah, just think of that. Think of the future ahead. For me, I didn't. I just I knew deep down I wanted to be a data scientist, but when I was in college, I didn't know anything about what I would do after college. Yeah, just think your future ahead.
Think of your future.
And actually do it now. What you want to do it now. There's no other time than now. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think I have one last thing to ask you to do, but I feel maybe you've already touched on it, but I'll ask anyway. How do you want to end this episode? Give us a powerful parting shot.
It can be, it's a quote I always follow: be afraid but still do it. Be afraid but still do it. Push, do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Be afraid but still do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Ariane.
too,
It's been
Alice.
a pleasure to host
Thank you for having
this
me.
platform
Yeah.
and for sharing your story. If you have not already been listening to the Carnegie Mellon series that we've been having on this podcast, make sure you do so. We've had some amazing guests and alumni who've shared some impactful stories that they have been a part of. As always, if you've reached this far into the episode, make sure that you follow, subscribe, leave a comment. If you'd like to be a guest on the My Tech Story Africa podcast, feel free to send a proposal at mytechstory.ea@gmail.com. And you never know, next time I could be in your city. So stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next week for the next episode. It's been a pleasure. My name is Alice Kanjejo, and I will see you guys next week. Cheers.